Hello, welcome to the MEPsketcher. In this video, I'd like to show you the main features of the MEPsketcher application. Now, if you have started up the application for the first time, then you will have to first sign in before you can use it. So let's go ahead and do that. Use the sign in and use the credentials that you also used on the website to download the application. And then when you have the application open, we can start by first opening a PDF file. Now, the MEPsketcher application will allow you to draw MEP elements directly on top of PDF files. So if I open up an example PDF, I can show you around. All right, so let's go ahead and look at the main features. So we can place equipment elements, terminal elements, and segment elements. These are the three main functions in the MEPsketcher. I will go through each one of them during this video, and let's start off with terminals. Now, terminals are elements like air terminals, electrical fixtures, sockets, radiators, anything you can place in the field. So let's go ahead, and we have a meeting room over here, and we want to place some air terminals in there. So if you activate the terminal command, then you can use this drop down to find the elements that you want to use. Now in this case I want to place a air terminal, so let's go ahead and do that. Now this is pretty straightforward. You can just click it, you get some guide grids for placing orthogonally in relation to your other elements. So there we go. That's placing a element or a terminal. Now let's go ahead and also place a electrical socket. Now if you want to search, you can also do this by going to the search bar over here and then just typing in whatever you want to find. Oh, I need to find the Dutch version, of course. I will show you how you can load in English translated terminals as well in a minute. So let's go ahead and place a socket, and let me click terminal again, and now you can see I can place an electrical socket. Now you can rotate the elements before placing them by clicking the space bar, and there we go, and that's a socket. Now you might think I want to have this in a different color, so you can also do this by activating the terminal command and then changing the color. So you've got a few pre-configured colors over here, but you can also choose your own custom color. So let me do that. And now I can place a green socket. All right, let me place a few more by hitting the rotate command with the space bar. There we go. All right, now of course we have one outlet that is still black, but we can change that also after placing the element. So if you click on an element, you get to see its properties over here in the properties panel, and one of its properties is the color property. So let's go ahead and click on that, and there we can also choose our green color that we just used for the other ones. All right, so this is the placing of terminals. Now the equipment is kind of the same, except that the equipment has a different list of elements to choose from in the drop-down. So equipment, these are typically the elements that are feeding or supplying your networks. So let's go ahead and place a fan that will provide our air terminals with some supply air. Now, as you can see, it's really small when I want to place it. So you can change the scale value before placing it. There we go. Now, Just like with the color, you can select it, and I still think it's a little bit too small, so let me change the scale in the properties to 250, hit enter, and it will scale. Now, let's also give it a different color, so let's go ahead and make this blue. And there we go. So these are equipment and terminal, basically just placing elements on top of your PDF, and they have properties that you can change. If you want to drag anything, you can click on it and hold the mouse button down, and then you can drag it and you get your guide grid, so you can place things at intersections of elements like that. So pretty straightforward. You've got a rotate icon, so you can rotate the element in any direction or angle that you like. And when you do that, then you can see that the rotation property also updates. So you can also supply a value in the properties, hit enter, and then it will rotate to that direction. So let me do 270 over here, so it's back to our initial orientation. Okay, so just one more thing that I want to show you for equipment and terminals. Both of them have this list of images, basically, that you can use with the commands. But as I told you earlier, this one is now in Dutch. But you can also load in your own custom folders. So if you have a folder with all kinds of images in them, then you can load that folder and it will be used as the input for this dropdown. So if you use this dropdown underneath terminal, then you can see that there is a browse a folder option. Now in your installation directory, there should be these 4 folders. So there's a terminals folder, that's the one we are using now, but there's also a terminals English folder, and that one has the same images in there, but all with a translated name to English. So as you can see, these are the same images, but they are English. All right. Now let's go ahead and show you the last function of the MEPsketcher, and that is the creation of segments. Now, segments are basically just PDF lines, but they represent a duct or a pipe or a cable tray or any kind of MEP curve that you want to draw. So let's go ahead and connect these air terminals into our fan so we can get an actual duct network. All right, so before you click on segment, you can see that we have a drop-down over here, and these are the network types that you can choose from. So we have air return, air supply, and for different disciplines, we have other network types as well that you can use. So let's go ahead and choose air supply. And you can also choose one of the network types from the quick select buttons down there. All right, so I'll click on segment, and now I can start drawing my segment. There we go. And right now it's trying to snap to this location, which I don't want. So what you can do is hold down the shift button, and this will disable the snapping behavior, and you can just freely place elements wherever you want them. So in this case, I think I want to kind of like do like that, place it at the intersection there, and then connect it into the fan. There we go. All right, now that is one way of creating a segment, just starting the command and starting to draw. You can also draw from existing elements. So if you select a segment, it will show all the fittings. These are called fittings, these red circles in the network. If you select a fitting, then you can do a right mouse button click and choose draw from. And this will allow you to continue drawing from existing elements. This also works the other way around. So if you click on the terminal, use the right mouse button, then you can also choose draw from, and then you can connect into fittings, or you can connect straight into segments, and this will create a fitting at that location. There we go. Or the final option, and that is to click on a segment, then use the right mouse button again and choose break segment, and this will create a fitting at that location. So let's say we want to have our air terminal over here for some reason. Then you could go draw from and connect into the air terminal. All right, so what we have now created is an actual connected network of segments. So if I want to move this fitting, I can do so and move it to the right. You can see it will snap to the orthogonal intersection snap point. But you can also drag segments, and it will drag the segment, the fitting and the terminal along with it. Or you can just drag the terminal and it will also update the position of the segment. So everything is connected. And as you might have noticed, on the right side we have our networks panel. And over there you get an overview of the connected networks on your PDF. So we just made an air supply network, and you can see it has a fan and it has 4 air terminals. You can change the name of the network, so let's call this air supply meeting room. There we go. And that's basically the basic functionality of the MEPsketcher. Now for the segments, there are some more options, of course. They also have properties. So, oops. If you select a segment, then you can see that it also has properties. You can change the shape. If you do that, then it will change the dimension properties. You got the width and the height. You can change that if you like to whatever you want. And you can also change the network type. Now, right now it's air supply. So if I change this, so you can change it to air return. And when you do that, you can see that the entire connected network also updates with the properties of the air return network type. All right, so then finally, we've got our edit button for the network types. So let's say we would want to change how the air return network looks. Then just click on the edit button, and then you get this network type dialog. You can use this drop down to see all the available network types. So right now we want to change the air return network. You can change the name, you can change the abbreviation that you see in the quick select section on the quick select buttons. So let's go ahead and change the color. Let's say we want this one to be more dark blue. So let's do that. And let's hit save. And as you can see, it updates right away. So you can also expand the network types with your own networks. So let's say I would like to have an air exhaust. Then I could click on new, and then I fill in the network name. So this is going to be air exhaust. The abbreviation is going to be AE. And you can fill in whatever you like in the description. All right, air exhaust is going to be a return flow direction. The discipline is ventilation. And let's give it a nice brown color. There we go. And the line thickness, let's set it to 3, and it can be solid. Then we do save as new. And there you go. Now we have the air exhaust in our list as well. And it's already selected, so if you now start drawing a segment, you'll see the air exhaust pop up. All right, so that's basically it. If you go to edit, you can also change the properties of an existing one and then click save as new. So I need some AI in my application as well. So let's change this to air intake. And this is going to be supply. It's going to be a nice blue color. And then I can do save as new, and then it will save it as new as air intake. There we go, and this will be added to the ventilation. There we go. All right, these are the main functions of the MEPsketcher. I hope you like them, and please give it a try. And if you have any feedback or experience any bugs, please let me know. Thank you.